Pretty good. So I take it you're picking Terry?
I thought I'd wear the jersey and not pick him,
Okay, gotcha.
but then I don't, I don't know. I'm trying to force a square peg into a round hole over here, so I might just pivot.
Gotcha. That's
So
fair.
I have like five wide receivers.
I have four, so it's okay.
Okay. So
I
we're only supposed to have three.
Yeah.
I took a lease out on your heart. I took a lease out on your heart. Can I at least have fun? Can I at least have fun? Can I at least have fun?
Welcome back, everybody. We are Rough Draft Research. You are the audience, and together we are on a quest for Dynasty Domination. How's it going over there, Daniel?
Very well, man. I'm doing pretty solid. Doing doing just bide my time, man. On a 7 day window between today and the kickoff of the NFL season.
Yeah, a week
It's burning a
away.
hole in my pocket.
Exciting stuff. Exciting stuff.
How are you doing, Christian?
I'm doing pretty good. Hanging out. Went to Cincinnati last night. Cool little
Hey.
town. Or not little, I guess. It's a city, but it's a cool town. Had a good time. And like you, I'm just getting ready for football. It's almost here. Feels like it's getting faster and faster every year.
It does it.
And it does to me, honestly. I feel like the NFL, just because of like our podcast, we dive in so much
Yeah.
during the off season, and then we hit the draft. And now it really does feel like with all the hard knocks and with
Mm-hmm.
the reporting that's going on, just how big the NFL is right now, it really does feel like it's kind of chugging along all year. Like,
Mm-hmm.
obviously there's not games happening, but there's always some sort of reason for it to be on my brain. So it does feel like to me it gets a little quicker.
We make it interesting all year long.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's
That's pretty
nice.
exciting.
Yeah, for sure. But here we are, we're back at it. We're going to be talking today a little top 12 in and out. So
Um,
we are going to nominate, each of us are going to nominate two players that we think could fall out of the top 12 of their position. We are going off projections from Sleeper and our league specifically, the For the Belt League. So top 12 wide receivers, running backs, tight end, and quarterbacks. Tight ends and or sorry, yeah, tight ends and quarterbacks. We're only going to nominate one. Those shrink, and then we are going to nominate some people to take their spot. And then together we're kind of going to decide who falls out of the top 12 and who comes in. So hopefully that made sense to everybody, and I didn't butcher that.
it's
But
about to make sense as we get into
yeah,
it.
if you don't get it, you will in a minute. So let's get started with the wide receivers, I think. So we are gonna go with I'm gonna let you guys know what the top 12 is here. So the top 12 projected wide receivers are Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, AJ Brown, Puka Nacua, Drake London, Chris Olave, Cooper Kupp, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Ooh.
And then for the guys that we're going to choose, we set a stipulation that it has to be outside the top 15. So that includes Nico Collins, Devontae Adams, and Debo Samuel as choices we cannot make here. So do you want to start with who we're kicking out or who we're bringing in?
If we're each nominating two to kick out, we might as well just start there. That way we
Okay.
can make room for our guys coming in.
Okay. I like that.
Um, I thought this was a tough
Hmm.
crowd.
Yeah.
And
He's good. They're good receivers.
yeah, hey man, top 12 for a reason.
Yeah.
But I my first nominee is, and this is gonna hurt. I mean, I don't know why I do this to people, but I'm nominating Justin Jefferson, dude.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, I know, and it's okay. Everybody has a down year, and it's not his fault. Like it's not his fault at all. I was I was there with the JJ thing.
Mm,
McCarthy was going to make it happen and be serviceable, and some continuity. Just bring it in with the worst version of the signal caller, and but now with Sam Darnold, you're not gonna. I get it. Everyone's optimistic, but you're not convincing me that he's going to be able to support Justin Jefferson in that kind of an effective role.
mm,
I think that the target share is bulletproof for JJ. The thing is, I don't believe that he's going to have the red zone opportunities. I don't think
mm,
the quantity of passes going his way are going to happen because I don't think the quantity of first downs, the quantity of plays are going to be going his way. You got Aaron Jones there now. They're going to lean into that a little bit. Hawkinson's out for a little while. So the defense is just gonna zero in on Justin Jefferson and try to make Sam Darnold prove it. And I just don't think that he can in an effective way to keep Justin Jefferson
mm,
up at the top. Now I think, career wise, he's going to be, obviously top five for years to come. I think he takes a year off of the top 12, personal opinion.
hmm. I see what you're saying. I personally tend to think Justin Jefferson's a little QB proof. I'm not really scared of him. He was not somebody I was even looking at towards nomination, but I do hear you because Sam Darnold has shown that he's not very good in the NFL. Maybe the optimism is going to be ill-placed. I'm not even necessarily optimistic, but in terms of like, I see what you're saying where they're not going to get enough red zone opportunities and stuff like that. In a PPR league, though, specifically, I feel like Justin Jefferson's still likely to catch 10 balls a game, because they're just going to try to feed him. I do think this offense on the whole took a downturn, but I personally not necessarily scared of Jefferson. Um,
That's fine.
I am going to nominate Puka Nakua. I think he is excellent. I think he is a great story, and he was fantastic last year. But he's also been hurt all offseason, and they're not really like discussing it. I feel like I haven't seen a lot about it, and he hasn't been practicing. And Cooper Kupp has looked good, and he's looked like not younger, but he's looked like healthy. And I feel like he's gonna be a big beneficiary of this Nakua stuff. And I feel like it's not that like Nakua is gonna be bad. I think he just kind of will regress into the teens where I think they both kind of finish. So I think it's a rise for Cooper Kupp and just a little bit of a fall for Puka Nakua just based on how they're gonna go. Because I don't think Cooper Kupp's done. I think he's got 1 or 2 more years of being really, really solid, just given the way he plays. Obviously, staying away from the injury history. Hopefully that doesn't get him. But I just think they're going to be a really electric offense with both these guys, and I could see him kind of just regressing here a bit.
Yeah, I've got him. He's a nominee of mine as well.
Okay,
It would
I
have,
should.
I knew I felt it coming as a nominee on yours as well. That's why I was like, hey, better leave that clear. Better throw the JJ out there.
That's
Oh
fair.
shit.
Okay, so those were
But
your two,
yeah,
right? That would be Justin Jefferson. So okay, I'll get into my other guy. So I guess we're going to be arguing Justin Jefferson or Chris Olave is
sure.
my other nominee. I also think Marvin Harrison Jr. is an obvious one to me, and we
Yeah,
could throw
kick
him.
12 out.
Yeah, but it feels like a little on the nose to always go
Hmm.
for 12, and I went for 12 in other ones, I think.
I
So
believe I did as well.
so I don't know. I kind of left Harrison there. I definitely, if we're kind of doing this the way we should, maybe we do vote Harrison. But my point on Chris Olave is I just don't trust Derek Carr. I don't think the Saints offense is going to be particularly good. I think Alvin Kamara is going to have a pretty good season, and he would have been a nominee for me in the top 12 RB conversation, but he was like ranked 14th, so he wouldn't
Hmm.
have, he wasn't eligible.
Right. No.
But Chris Olave, I mean, he had a better year last year than his rookie season, and he had a good rookie season. But it's just been kind of like slow and a little bit up and down and a little bit meh sometimes. And I think that's gonna continue until they move on from Derek Carr. Um, and maybe they do with Rattler, but
Yeah.
but I just don't see it. So I nominated Chris Olave here to fall out of the top 12 because I mean he's never his best finish was like 24, which was last season. So even if he ends up like 16, that's still an improvement from where he was at. And I just think that's a big jump when there's not really any indicator of why. Like, what makes the Saints offense from last year or this year any better than it was last year?
Yeah, nothing. There's nothing. I mean, it's going
So,
to be worse, right? I
yeah.
mean,
Well, it may not even be
potentially with the
worse, but
O
it's going to
line.
be, yeah, the O line could be worse, but there's not a really a viable number two yet. I mean, Rashid Shaheed is cool, and I do like him as a gadget player and like a fantasy asset, but I don't know how much he screams like true number two. And then again, it all goes back to the Derek Carr dump off king. Like Alvin Kamara is getting 20 targets a game potentially, and
I
that's going to
know.
eat Chris Olave.
So pumped about it. Alvin Kamara, he's just so obtainable in every redraft.
Yeah,
So
it is
he
tight.
better he better come through for me. But okay, well, now if you're asking me to genuinely tell you if I think that Justin Jefferson is going to perform better than Chris Olave, then fine. Fine, you got me.
Okay.
Um Puka, I do have to say Puka, like having two Rams on the top 12, like this isn't happening, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
I don't see that.
if it does, then all of us are sleeping on Matthew Stafford pretty hard.
Yeah.
Which I think,
Ooh.
don't want to preview anything coming up later, but
There's
got to do
potential.
what you got to do. Whew, that was close. I almost stepped on that bear
Okay.
honeybee. But
So we are removing from the top 12 then Puka Nakua and Chris Olave, yes?
mhm.
Okay.
But
Marvin
I want
Harrison,
you I don't want you coming back when Justin Jefferson finishes 14th
that's
because
fair. I
it's
won't.
the first season that the Vikings haven't had over 30 passing touchdowns that he was on the squad. So I'm just saying. I'm just
That's
saying.
fair. That's fair. You never know. He could. Marvin Harrison Jr. skating through by the skin of his teeth. He probably,
He'll be top 12.
you think?
So he's gonna start slow and heat way up. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair
I
enough.
mean, you've seen some of that film, right?
Yeah, no, he's awesome. I love him, but I just don't know that he'll be a top 12 this year. But we move on. So those are the guys we're nominating out. Do you want to hit us with your first nominee?
Sure, why not? Hey, DJ Moore, dude.
Woo, baby.
Broken records be damned. The wide receiver 21.
Yep.
And definitely feel like I'm beating a dead horse on this one, guys.
Mm-hmm.
But how's he 21 in projections? He's coming off of the wide receiver 6 year,
Mm-hmm.
and by all accounts, things will be more promising with Caleb Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, people are going to talk about things like Roma Dunze, awesome guy,
Yeah.
rookie. Don't need him to perform like you do some other rookies that come through. Keenan Allen, oh yeah, the guy broke the system with 150 some targets last year. That's not happening again.
Mm-mm.
They told you what they thought about this guy in the offseason, 4 years, 110 million. That's some Brandon Ayuk money right there. So it's just paper situation, future locked in. I think the guy's been doing it for years, just struggling with the Panthers. Now he's finally a Bear, and
Mm-hmm.
he's going to be. What do Bears do? They growl. They get grizzly in this. I don't know. He's gonna make
They
himself heard.
roar. Do bears roar?
I
Yes,
don't.
they
Yeah,
roar.
it's like
I don't
a
know.
scream yell. I don't know, man. Howling. I don't know.
No, I'm with you. I have DJ Moore on my list too, so it seems like he's definitely locked in
Okay.
as our in, or one of our ins. But you kind of already hit it. Wide receiver six, and now there's more talent around him, and everyone's concerned enough to drop him to 21. That seems absurd to me.
Yeah.
He's the highest paid bear in history. He's
Good
gonna
Lord.
eat. Like he's gonna eat, and they're building that offense. Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, and Romo Dunze, that is them going forward. That's why they signed him that 4 year extension. Now they have all them tied to the Bears for 5 years, basically. And now Keenan Allen's a nice piece to have, but he's not. I don't think he's the guy. And I'm with you. It's DJ Moore, and I think he could easily finish in the top 12.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, another guy I have is you know what? I'll do it. I'll just do it. I got a pool of people to draw
Okay.
from. I'm going the wide receiver 35.
Ooh,
Boom.
Scary Terry.
Going Terry McLaurin, man.
Okay.
There's a million reasons why it's Terry. Obviously, best quarterback of his career with
Mm,
the Jalen Daniels situation. 34, I mean, borderline disrespectful after, especially, well, 35, sorry, everybody. After the Jahan Dotson move. And
hmm
I know, history hasn't been really strong with him coming off of the wide receiver 28 year. But I mean, this is kind of getting a little weird. He's coming off of four back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons after doing 900 as a rookie. He's scoring touchdowns every year. He's just missing something dynamic to put him over the top, and I think that he has it in a dual threat quarterback. I mean, it's kind of the least target competition that he's ever
Yeah,
had.
probably.
There was that weird like Logan Thomas years and
hmm
and I don't even want to remember back to the guys like Crowder was on the team when he was
Yeah.
a rookie. So
Yeah.
it's wide open for him to just come in and whatever rack up 140 on the
Yeah.
target numbers. Like let's see that happen.
Yeah.
That he was 132 last year, so it's not unheard of at all.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I like Terry a lot. I considered him as one of my nominees. I didn't end up going with him. Actually, but I hear you. If Jaden Daniels does come out like the guy we think he can come out and be, then Terry should get at least 140 targets. Now, I am concerned that maybe they try to run more, especially in Daniels' rookie year. Cliff Kingsbury's used to running. Um, he ran James Conner into the ground. He ran Kyler Murray all the time. And so that would be my only concern there. But I'm with you in terms of it is the best QB he's ever had. He has performed outside or without having a great quarterback. So why wouldn't he with one? So I hear you. I'm gonna throw a quick dark horse out just to mention him. I don't think he's gonna make it, but George Pickens is a dark horse to me just because he's gonna get a bajillion targets, I think. I just am concerned with that offense on the whole, but he's supremely dark horse to have a really good year to me. Um, I'll keep it in the 30s with you though, with Terry, just for my next nominee. The 33 player, Rasheed Rice.
Of
I think
course.
Rice is the clear like one in KC. And I don't think he's going to be suspended this year. I think Worthy is going to take some time to get acclimated, and I still see him as a boomer bust weekly guy. And I just think Rice is going to get the lion's share of the targets. And I just think he's probably going to have a pretty good year I mean, we've talked about it all off season. We think Mahomes and the uh, Chiefs are going to throw the ball a lot more than they have been. They even brought in Samaje Perine,
Yeah,
um, who could help in the passing game,
they
actually.
do.
And so I think that is going to be the move. And so there's a chance that Rasheed Rice kind of ends up as a top wide receiver one. Not the
Oh,
top, but
yeah,
a.
no. All right, all right. I'll let you play with that. I thought for me that rookie year was great,
Mm,
but there was no one else.
yeah.
Get me to a point where Hollywood's doing something. I feel like Juju's gonna get some rotation on
Okay.
this. Um,
Fucking
over
Juju.
Sky Moore, and
Oh
then
gosh.
so you
He
got Hollywood and Rice, and then Worthy, which I do think Worthy.
mm,
I don't think he's going to be fully integrated, but I do think there's going to be chunks of that field that he owns. and obviously we know the deal with Rice. He was a possession receiver, short A dot, just like catching balls, and they're going to definitely keep the heat off of Kelsey. So you could be right, man. Especially in the PPR, he's going to
We'll
rack up
see.
some
I
good
think
stats.
I would probably put him below Terry in terms of likelihood of making
Okay,
it into the
okay,
top 12, honestly. Definitely behind DJ Moore. In
yeah,
front
for
of
sure.
Pickens, but behind my next guy. So we'll get into your
Okay, I like that
one.
Pickens call. I'm putting Calvin Ridley out there,
Okay.
wide receiver 34, and I don't know why I skipped from 15 all the way to 20. Maybe probably not my best work. I think probably Ayuk needs to be mentioned,
Ayuk
going
is a
from
good shout.
19 with the contract done. But dude, for Ridley, I mean, he was wide receiver 17 last year,
Mm,
and that's on the team with Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram and like some shoddy red zone situations. He was, a little smidge away from being a wide receiver one, a top 12 last year. And now we've got, his competition is what it is. It's Hopkins, who's what 32 and nursing an injury coming into the season. I think things are all systems go for Ridley to be a hoss, and I kind of am heating up. I feel I'm reserving some optimism for Levis. For
mm.
some reason, he didn't do anything to really earn that outside of that one monster game.
Yeah,
He put up three TDs for Mr. Hopkins, but I think Ridley. I mean, they paid him, they brought him in. There's one reason he's there, and it's to be the face of the offense. I think he can get in and do that and have some success. It's not gonna be pretty, but I see like a Cooper or an Amari Cooper plus type year coming his way.
gotcha.
So that's
Um,
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm with you for the most part. I do like the Titans offense a little bit more. I kind of do uh vibe with Will Levis. I think
You're right.
he might be end up be good. I don't know
Bananas in
that
my
I would
coffee, dog.
I don't know that I would push him into the top 12. I just see them being more sporadic in terms of who they target. They brought in Tony Pollard and they have Tajay to get a lot of targets. I mean, Tajay got 70 targets last season. He may split that with Tony Pollard, unfortunately, now, but I just don't know that Ridley will get the share to get into the top 12, but I like him and his potential. Um, I did not go very far from the top 15 here with my next guy. I went with DK Metcalf.
Sure.
He had only 119 targets last season, and I see that number going up with Ryan Grubb in the house. I kind of just like the Seahawks offense on the whole a lot better than the ADP seems to suggest right now, or the projections seem to suggest. I think they're going to move the ball through the air quite a bit more than they did under Pete Carroll. And I think DK and JSN are the two most obvious primary beneficiaries there. And I could easily see DK having another great year and sneaking into the top 12.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think there was for a moment some fear that the OC change really made it difficult for me to project it. Um, with yeah, Shane Waldron going to Chicago. But then you look at it and they got the guy from Washington
Hmm.
University, where they were doing nothing except for supporting three high level wideouts,
Hmm.
same as. So I look for DK to obviously hold down that Rome Odunze role that Washington had going. So I'm with you there. Obviously, we got the defensive head coach, so we can
Hmm.
project a little offensive coordinator action to be
Yeah.
seamless there. I like
Influence.
it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm for that. Okay, I'll give him the nod.
Okay. You
Is
want to go
that is that all
DK?
the guys? Is that all
Yeah,
the
that would be all
nominees?
the nominees. So we're going out with Puka and Chris Olave and
Yeah.
going in with Moore and DK.
Yep. DJ and DK.
Okay. I like
Okay.
it. DJ and
Sweet.
DK. Yeah, entering the top 12. All right, so we were gonna hit you with the tight ends next. So we're only gonna nominate one each here. It's a little less juicy. So in terms of nominating out, I kind of think you already hit the nail on the head in our rookie episode with Brock Bowers. I don't see him making the top 12 in his rookie year. Like I get that he's a dynamic playmaker and I think he's going to be great. I actually just got him in a rookie draft and I'm kind of excited about it. He fell into the beginning of the second, but I just don't I think the Raiders are going to be trash on offense this season. So I don't like investing in a rookie tight end, which we already know that that's hard to start. Um, and then yeah, you're investing in that, and then he's on a bad offense. Just real quick, I forgot to list the top 12. So, top 12 tight ends are Kelsey, Laporta, Mark Andrews, Trey McBride, George Kittle, Dalton Kincaid, Kyle Pitts, Jake Ferguson, Evan Ingram, David Njoku, Brock Bowers, and Dallas Goedert.
Yeah. I like where you're going. Thanks for listing that off. Um, yeah, I felt like I wanted to do Brock, but then I was like, damn, I just buried this guy the other day. So I went with Dallas Goddard.
Okay.
Yeah, and for me, it's about, the inconsistency with
Yeah.
injuries
Uh-huh.
and usage, and like sometimes feel like he's a bit wasted on the Eagles. Um, but it's crazy because he's had like extreme target games,
Mm.
large major games, but it's just not consistent. And
Yeah.
then you bring in
Saquon.
uh, Saquon Barkley, and it's like
Hmm.
I think I know who wins that staring contest every time. Um, so I mean, he hasn't consistently performed as a top 12 tight end,
Yeah.
season long. So it's just easy for me to imagine him getting beat out here. That's fine. But yeah, if you want to go Brock, dude,
Well, no,
you got my
so
vote.
I actually had Dallas Goedert as a backup in case
Okay.
you had Brock. So I actually we can do a little rookie optimism and pull away from shitting on him
Yeah.
as a rookie bust. And let's go Dallas Goedert because I'm with you. I think bringing in, I mean they still have AJ Brown. Jalen Hurts is going to run the ball. Saquon Barkley's there, and you have Devonta
Jahan
Smith.
Dotson, baby.
Jahan Dotson, yeah, all these guys in the red zone, and I think just Dallas Goedert becomes so low on the pecking order that he falls out of the top 12. It did feel a little low hanging fruit because he
Yeah.
was 12, but Bowers was 11, so
And this list is pretty ironclad. I mean,
yeah, it's I can't really
like,
argue. The only other potential argument I had was Njoku,
yeah,
just because like the Browns and I don't like Deshaun Watson, so. But I wouldn't even feel very good about that. So,
right. I'm with you. Okay,
um,
well that was pretty easy.
yeah, easy. So Dallas Goedert out. I have a quick nomination for Tucker Kraft. He's just an honorable mention. I think he's gonna have a bigger role, and I covered it, I think last week in our redraft episode. Um, so just throwing him back out there, I think I might have lost the Luke Musgrave battle, but we'll see. Uh, and this one's gonna sound crazy. But there's potential that we finally see a Noah Fant year.
Mhm.
He's the tight
Mhm.
end 20 in projections. Okay. So it's pretty deep for tight ends. He's only 26. He's no longer surrounded by that three-headed weird monster they had with Disley, Will Disley, Colby Parkinson, and himself. His only competition now is Pharaoh Brown and rookie AJ Barner, who was, decent tight end. In college. I expect we already talked about it. Ryan Grubb, he's going to have lot more passing than I think we're
Yeah.
used to seeing in Seattle, and I think that extends to the tight end room. And at the tight end room as a whole got 98 targets last season, and Noah Fant did lead the room, but it was just that he only had 43. And so they were spreading it so thin between those guys, or so evenly between those guys, no one could really come out. And now I just think he is going to see, now, is it only going to be 70 maybe targets? Sure. But I mean, we all know how volatile the back half of the top 12 of the tight ends are. You know,
Mhm.
somebody with 8 touchdowns randomly and 400 yards could pop into the top 12, you know? And
Happens
so I
every
don't,
year.
yeah, I don't think it's crazy that that guy could end up being Noah Fant.
That would be wild, man. I'm with you. I like that. I cheated.
Okay.
So you can disqualify me if you want to.
Okay.
But I went with, since it's tight end and, cheating is easy when you make the rules. Um, I went with the tight end 15. I
Okay.
did it. I did
You went with
Pat
Firemouth.
Fryermuth.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot to name the so the other guys we weren't supposed to use, Dalton Schultz, TJ Hawkinson, and Pratt Fryermuth.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, not Pat Fryermuth though, because I used him. So
yeah,
that's
because you did use
just
him, but
just throwing it out there. But it's just, I mean, you nailed it with the Pickens summary. Like the
hmm.
volume's definitely coming his way.
Yeah.
Um, and he's always had like high correlation between target volume and success.
Hmm.
It's pretty great. His top year was the tight end 8, and when his total targets were cut in half, his fantasy points were literally cut in half as well. So the last 2 years, he only had 2 touchdowns, and I don't know. We make a lot of, well,
Hmm.
actually, we don't really do this, but the world as a whole makes a lot of Arthur Smith jokes. But he targeted the tight end position 32% target share last year, with Bijan
Pretty hefty.
Robinson and Drake London on the team. So
Yeah.
um, it's not a joke. You got Van Jefferson as a wide receiver too. There's going to be some major work going to Fryermuth, and because of that, I'm cheating him in. We know Fields, if Fields gets the job, like he loved
Yeah.
Komet in the red
Did.
zone. If that kind of attraction to the tight end in those situations remains at all, then it could mean major things for the Fry Master. So that's nothing,
Yeah.
man.
I think it's more likely that Freiermuth does it, so I'm fine putting him in. Just it is tight ends too. We
Cheaters
can,
do win.
yeah, because like we're scratching at straws going with the 16th ranked tight end.
Hmm.
I do
Hmm.
like Noah Fant to have a decent year though, but yeah, we can do Freiermuth
I
for
do. I do like Hunter Henry
Goddard.
though, the
Okay.
16th ranked tight end.
Oh
I don't
wow.
think he's going to hit top 12, but I'm reloading that. Just
That's fair. Okay.
past disappointments
I'm
be
not there
damned.
with you, but I
Ah,
hope
come
you're right.
on, man. We'll find out.
All right, moving on to QBs. We're also only doing one nomination each here. The top 12 being Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud, Kyler
Mm.
Murray, Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, Jordan Love, and Trevor Lawrence. So who you voting out?
Well, I'm voting out the quarterback 9, Dak Prescott, baby.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with him. Dak's awesome. He's great. He's got an alpha wide receiver
Yeah.
and CD Lamb, up and coming sleeper tight end, and Jake Ferguson.
Yeah.
But after that, well, yeah, we're looking at Brandon Cooks, maybe
Mhm.
Dalvin Cook, Ezekiel Elliott. Very, very, very minimal competition for the starting roles around this team. And I don't know. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Cowboys were fifth in total yards last year. And I really think they're going to miss Tony Pollard's 1,300 yards.
Hmm.
Yikes. I said something good about Tony Pollard almost. So the bottom line is that this season for the Cowboys, it has a beautiful narrative in theory. They can bring back what worked last year, but it's not built to withstand any kind of bad luck at all.
Mhm.
So it's easy for me to predict something doesn't work out for some portion of the season because it's very, very thin. as far as the luck margin goes with this roster setup. So I can see him being outside the top 12 if him or CD misses any time, or if defenses figure out how to, you know, ignore the other nine guys on the offense because they're pretty much pointless.
Yeah, that's
So
fair. Yeah, so I thought this getting the out for the quarterbacks here was fairly difficult.
yeah,
And Dak was one of the guys I was looking at. He's only been outside the top 12 once in a healthy season, so that scared me a little bit. And then
sure.
to me, CD being there, I think he has a shot, but I do hear you.
Mhm.
They're so thin, that if anything were to crumble at all, they're just gonna come toppling down. Brock Purdy was on my radar up until as I was writing my notes, Brandon Ayuk signed his extension. And so I just think the Niners have one more year where they're a truly dominant offense. I do see the wheels falling off of that eventually. But I don't think it's this year. Um, so my nominee ended up being Trevor Lawrence, another like low-hanging fruit. He's the QB 12. But I just think with like a new wide receiver in Gabe Davis, a rookie in Brian Thomas Jr. He's only been in the top 12 once, and that was in 2022 when he was eighth, and that was the same year that Daniel Jones was ninth.
Hey,
So
we
uh
putting him into then? No.
I don't know that I put too much stock into that year. I just see a scenario where this offense doesn't quite work the way it was supposed to early on, which I think could hurt his numbers. Like I think maybe he makes a push there at the end of the year when like if this offense starts to click. But because I was considering Dak and that was your nominee, we can go ahead and go Dak because I'm with you. It does make sense to me that he would fall out. I just think like as opposed to the Cowboys, sorry, to the Niners and make them having more time before the wheels fall off. I think we might see the wheels fall off for the Cowboys this season.
Yeah,
With the whole Dak contract situation going on. I do think CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson are great shouts in
for
fantasy,
sure.
but Dak maybe a little less so.
Yeah, and I hope he has a great year. It's because it seems like he's might be
Leaving?
moving on,
Yeah.
and so why not, which I guess is a sweet segue into my nominee to
Yeah.
take his spot.
Which cannot be Jaden Daniels, Justin Herbert, or Jared Goff. That would
Okay.
round out the top 15.
Well, in a full deck style, the original, I'm leaving and I'm taking my ball with me. Kirk Cousins,
Oh, that was
the
mine
quarterback
too.
23.
Yep, that was
He
mine too.
Nice, dude.
So that
Well,
was
you want I
easy.
keep I think I stomped on yours earlier. If you wanted to get into Kirk, and then I'll follow you
Uh,
up.
sure, yeah. My whole point on Kirk is, there were some interesting quarterbacks here. But like, what if this does work? What if Kirk, who's been a top 12 quarterback in three straight seasons and looked on his way to being that again before he got hurt last year, shows up healthy and makes the wide receiver or the talent on the Falcons offense that we know is their shine. Pitts finally matches his rookie year. London is that wide receiver one we've been waiting on. And Bijan is a supreme threat in the passing game. We already know that those three can hold up their end, at least London and Bijan. We've seen it, and Pitts to a lesser extent. I think we have seen it, but we've still seen it. Um, so if Kirk is Kirk, then I don't see a reason why he shouldn't be in the top 12. It might be 11, but still, you know what I mean? Like, and I think, like, obviously, I don't, Drake London's not Justin Jefferson, but he's a great wide receiver, and I think his potential is about to be unlocked. Kyle Pitts could be equally as valuable as TJ Hawkinson, I think, and Bijan is going to take over as the like leading RB1 at some point. Why not this year?
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I like it. I was shading your analysis with the I got Bijan as the dump off king of the world with Kirk, and then yeah, high hopes for Mooney. But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're saying, yeah, which whatever, Mooney. If that doesn't work out, it's gonna be a silly thing I never bring up again. But you're right. Kirk has been six out of the last eight as a top 12. Um,
Mhm.
And like before getting injured last year, he was on pace to be, even higher than that. And it was pretty incredible what he was doing last year prior to the injury. And you might say, hey, Minnesota's O-line finishes a top three pass blocking unit per PFF. But I tell you that, hey, so did Atlanta, and they're bringing back all the starters on that O line, and they've got a preseason rank from PFF as the sixth best unit. So, I mean, it's kind of like
It's putting it together.
right, changing purple to black and bringing it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
with you.
saying
So
that.
Dak out and Kirko in.
This one feels like it's a foregone conclusion.
I'm with you. I think Kirk gets in there. Should be fun to watch too. I can't wait. Atlanta's going to be on my secondary TV probably all year, with all my Bijan and Drake London stock.
Mm.
Um, Speaking of running backs, let's end the episode strong. So the top
Yes.
12 projected RBs are CMC, Brees Hall, Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, Isaiah Pacheco, Jameer Gibbs, Devon Achan, Kyron Williams, Travis Etienne, Derrick Henry, and Rashad White. Rounding out the top 15. So, guys, we cannot nominate Josh Jacobs, Alvin Kamara, James Cook.
Okay.
Who you voting
Um,
out?
well, I'm going to start with the easy one. Rashad White,
Okay.
RB12. Beautiful year last year. 272 carries, baby. And I got to tell you, man, it was 3.64 yards per attempt,
Yeah.
which ranked 40th out of 48 guys with over 100 carries. Um, so it wasn't great at all.
Yeah.
And 70 targets was good, and his average on the catches, 7.5 yards per, very good. And so I see that a role being there,
Hmm.
but just between the combination of Sean Tucker and Bucky Irving, there's going to be something to disrupt the hopes of him delivering on a top 12. I mean, to me, it's just not going to happen. He's not going to get the volume that he got before. He's got backup that's going to threaten his workload.
I think that's fair. I kind of looked at White for a minute. I feel like we've been ragging on Rashad White all off season, so I
Hell
decided
yeah,
to
we have.
pivot. But I mean, he's definitely in the running for moving out of the top 12. I'm gonna nominate Kyron Williams. I've been back and forth on this, but my man's returning punts. Um, I don't like that. Like, you guys, people can spin it however they want.
Oh,
Like, people
shit.
can, oh, he's getting the ball more. Oh, they want him to have more touches. Okay, yeah, he's gonna get hurt at some point, returning
Yeah.
punts, likely. And like, that's not what you do with your bell cow starting running back. It's not. I'm
What
sorry,
are
I don't
we doing,
care. Like,
McVay? What are we
so
doing?
that report came out and it shook me to my core about
Oh my
Kyron
God.
Williams. I dropped Blake Corum in a league in a redraft and now I regret it. This is
Mm.
exactly why I drafted him was for news like this. And I don't love it. I don't love Kyron Williams right now.
Yeah, we just have to I guess you just have to hold on to your Rams rookies until week
Yeah.
one when you figure out that, oh, yeah, they're top three at the position.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
out of
yeah.
nowhere. Or yeah, hold on for the first
And
2 years in the case of Kyron Williams. I
yeah, I
mean,
guess
geez.
so, dude. And I mean, Sean McVay's so good at getting everything out of these players on offense, and he's just going to rotate these guys. I don't
And
think
special
Kyron sees
teams,
the volume.
apparently.
Yeah, and special teams. Let's go.
Good Lord. Okay, I like that. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. But I did. I put the RB8 Devon A. Shane
Okay,
on my list,
I can see
and this
that.
one is weird. And I feel like I definitely could be completely wrong here. But I don't know. Prior to the injury, he had a pretty good week 3 through 5 where he's averaging 11 yards per carry.
Hmm.
And after the injury, it came back down to a still impressive 8 yards per carry. But kind of that craziness of that 3 game stretch I don't know. It was just unprecedented. It was amazing. He kind of peaked at that week 3 game where he had
Yeah.
52 fantasy points.
Hell of a
Um,
peak.
yeah, yeah, and that game contained his third ever NFL touch, along with his first 4 NFL touchdowns.
Jesus.
And it was a silly game. It was against the Broncos and they won 70 to
70.
20.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
it
Lord.
was a great coming out party for the rookie. And I personally don't think that like that's a one-time deal. Like you're
Mm.
not gonna get that kind of game out of him. They're gonna put him back in the cooler, keep him on ice, save him for the next rodeo, however you want to put it. But I think that, it was a nice 11 win year. And when it came down the stretch, they got iced out, man. So they're gonna probably take things. I think they're going to be a more conservative team. I know that they like to do fireworks, but I think
Yeah.
that this team has gone from like take us seriously to okay, our goal is postseason, and we need to do what we need to do to be effective at that time. We don't need to showboat, as it were, through the season with Devon A. Chain getting 25% of all of his fantasy points in a single game. And then you got to add in a little bit like Raheem's still on this team, and then we know how we feel about Jalen Wright as a potential foundation of this running back room. It's a kind of irresponsible projection for Achan based off of 3 games, man. Because when he
Yeah.
came back, he wasn't as explosive, and I think he was utilized in a way that was more realistic.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah, I thought about Achan here. I decided to just let it ride and see what happens on him. And but I'm with you. He does make a lot of sense. My other nominee for out was Isaiah Pacheco. It's kind of what we've been saying all offseason. First of all, RB6 is
come on.
absurd. Like, what are we talking about? He was like the RB15 last year, and we're like, oh yeah, he's gonna jump all the way to 6. Bullshit on that, first of all. Just no way. But I don't think he makes the top 12 either. Um, I just like we've said all offseason, I think the Chiefs are going to pass the ball more. They brought in Samaje Perine. I mentioned it earlier, and I do think that is going to take some of the passing work that Pacheco might have gotten. Because Perine, that's kind of his thing. He's a good receiver out of the backfield. He's good at pass blocking. I feel like that's one of the reasons they brought him in. And Pacheco's just not going to see that amount of touchdowns, I don't think, again this season. And I think it's going to go back to where Patrick Mahomes is lighting people up. And I don't see him maintaining this value. Like maybe he does finish in the teens again and is a nice RB2 for you, but there's no way he's making the jump to 6, and I don't even think he gets to 12.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like it's just everything we're saying, you
Yeah.
know. It's through the air, it's not on the ground. Last year was the highest it's gonna get for him. And sure, it'd be cool if he was RB6, and like that's just not the identity of this team.
Yeah.
Carson Steele is the identity of this team. But I'm with you, dude. He gets voted out for sure. I was just trying to be. I
Say
had to.
different people. I hear
Well,
you.
that and like I hope we're wrong. I hope
Yeah.
Pacheco
For the
scores 20
Chiefs.
touchdowns.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, how cool would that be? I mean,
Yeah.
he's already taken the fan base by storm, kind of just coming out of nowhere out of Rutgers and just
Yeah.
just being like, it's me, baby, let's do this. So, no reason to not cheer for that to continue to happen, but to expect it, and it's unrealistic. I don't think we can really see anything like that coming. And like you're saying, the P Ryan ad really makes up for the loss of Jet. So
Yeah.
with no McKinnon, there's definitely a transition here to P Ryan that I think could be pretty seamless. So
I'm with you. So Pacheco, and then I guess we go White.
okay, sure,
You want to go Pacheco and White? Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah, I'll
Pacheco and
take
White getting out of here.
out of here.
Let's hit some nominees
Who's
for who
coming
takes their
in? Oh,
spot.
jeez. Yeah, how did this happen? Um, okay, okay. I will start with, oh man. I'm gonna start with Javonte Williams,
Okay.
running back 25 projection, which I thought was higher than I really expected it to be. And okay, last year, yeah, he had over 200 carries, not even 800 yards. He was averaging like 3.5 per, only had 3 touchdowns. It was kind of sad. It was kind of summed up a bit of the Broncos year in a stat line. But that was coming back from the injury. He started the year slow. He did have some nice little pop games there, getting 20 points per outing, kind of when the workload came his way. So he's got a full season, off season after the ACL. And I think that this offense is kind of like, well, this whole team is a blank slate, and that he's got every opportunity to kind of, have the success that we were all hoping for when he came out. I mean, he had 900 yards and 40 catches in a true 50-50 split with Melvin Gordon as a rookie. And then Russ came to town, and that was a train wreck. And then the injury. And I think he can seize the spotlight and just be the guy for this team. I love Audric Estime. I think that he has a great future, potentially. And then McLaughlin, the world knows his name. The guy was statistically dynamite, but there's no reason if Javante can come in and establish himself as the go-to guy here that he can't rack up a monster year and get himself in the double-digit touchdown game for the first time ever and deliver on some of that hype, some of that Tar Heel hype.
That's fair. I loved Javante coming out, and he could catch all the passes in the world this season, especially with P. Ryan being gone. I mean, McLaughlin kind of does take that work too. I'm just kind of out on the Broncos as a concept,
Sure.
and I may end up being wrong about that. Drew Lock admittedly has looked better than I expected already. I mean, it is preseason, and I don't know. I still don't believe in it. But I see where your head's at and I could see it happening. I'm gonna go with my real dark horse guy, my ranked 32 running back. It's Brian Robinson Jr. I think the odds are pretty low of him making the top 12, but I could see a path to it. And I do think he finishes well above 32. I think it's likely maybe in the teens, even like late
Wow.
teens, which I don't, so it wouldn't be that crazy of a jump to me to go from there to 12. I Eckler's presence at first was scary, and I was saying it all offseason, and maybe it's going to be one of those switcheroos they do on me. But I thought Eckler was really brought in to be a guy there and really kind of take the scoring. But the way Cliff Kingsbury talks about Brian Robinson, I mean, he literally called him the best running back in the league, which is nonsense, but he said it, like, so
Billy
I
shit.
just think he's gonna get a lot of work, and I do like his fit in the offense. He reminds me of what James Conner did for the Cliff Kingsbury Arizona team, like a strong, powerful runner to kind of open up this and spread the ball around. And he can be used in the receiving game. Like he caught 36 catches last year and he had 4 touchdowns, which isn't like crazy, but it's pretty decent. And so I just see a path to this happening. I don't know for sure that it will, but I do think he's gonna have a better year than definitely the RB 32.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. The only thing is the Eckler effect, dude. If there
Yeah.
could be, I feel like Cliff, that's like the kind of guy Cliff could really unlock at
Mhm.
some capacity that threatens that workload. But yeah, Robinson, he's been underrated
Yeah.
year in and year out, and there's no reason he couldn't climb up towards the top 12,
Yeah.
towards the
Towards.
towards into the running near the top 12. So I like that, man. I toyed with him. It's really the running back this year. It seems kind of Wild
Well,
West after the top like six guys. So
yeah.
we'll see how it shakes out. I can tell you one guy though, one guy is gonna make his way up there near that area.
Okay.
I'm going with the broken record. The record is broken. The RB21, Ramondre Stevenson.
Okay.
Boom. When it comes to Stevenson, the question is simple. Is Antonio Gibson in 2024 a bigger threat than Ezekiel Elliott was in 2023? And I don't think so, man. Personally, I mean, this is kind of a Gibson summary of his life's work, but in 16 games, he only had 65 carries last year, which is abysmal.
Yeah.
But obviously, that's not really a good summary of who he is as a person. His usage has varied wildly from over 250 carries in 2021 to right around 150 in his other two seasons. So he's all over the map. He's kind of a wild card. He definitely is a solid pass catcher.
Hmm.
Um, but it's the money, man. This Ramondre Stevenson guy, he's
Yeah.
got 4 years,
Did get
36
paid.
million. It's insane that average annual is sixth ranked amongst running backs, and sure, there's plenty of rookies like the big dogs are on those cheap contracts right now, so it doesn't really necessarily reflect. He's not sixth amongst projections by any means, but he's compensated in a way that lets you know how the organization feels about him. And in healthy games last year, he's a little hot and cold, but he had some great games,
Hmm.
upwards of 20 touches. I thought he was a really good pass catcher. I really like it just killed me watching Mac Jones throw behind behind
Yeah.
Ramondre Stevenson's shoulders. Like it just killed me. It was so bad. So I look for something good to come out of this. And I think that you get Alex Van Pelt in, who's
Hmm.
spent the last 3 years in Cleveland as the OC. He says, "Hey, this organization wants this guy to be a workhorse. I know how to do that. It's not Nick Chubb. We know that,
Yeah.
but I know how to I know how to ride a workhorse back. So give him the money, give him the role, stay tuned, and watch it unfold. It's gonna happen."
I like that. You make a compelling argument there. I didn't have him on my list, but I think that was more of like I just missed him because he's a really good shout for this exercise. I'm with you there. Um, I don't love the Patriots offense, but like he should get a ton of work. So we've seen running backs on bad offenses have great fantasy years, so it's not undoable. Um, I nominated DeAndre Swift. I think this one's pretty simple. I just expect the Bears offense to be pass happy but better. And I think Swift has really shown he can thrive in that environment where he doesn't get a ton of the workload because it's a pass happy place. He did it in Detroit. Um, the Eagles were more run heavy, to be sure, but he still didn't get a ton of the work necessarily, and he had a pretty good year for them. He doesn't have Jalen Hurts stealing rushing touchdowns anymore.
Yeah.
And I think he can do some work in the passing game. So I like him as a potential sneaky RB12.
Okay. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I think you convinced me on that. Do I really have to say my third guy? I got to do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. I put RB22 Najee Harris on my list.
Okay.
So I I get the love, the Jalen Warren love.
Hmm.
The guy has great moves, elite, really. But this is the old, where's my contract? You MFers. No fifth year option. What the cheese, man. So for me, it's just Najee, dude. He's gonna be angry Najee. He's gonna come in and try to prove them wrong for not, investing in him long term or picking up the fifth year. He already outtouched Warren, 255 to 149 on the ground last year, and that's a pretty decent workload split his way. 60-40 type thing, but as far as pass catching, it was obviously going Warren's way, but Najee was still effective, and I think if he hits that juice, with the just like the anger plus the size plus the pedigree, like in the capital, like we know what this guy is. He had that amazing rookie year. There's nothing to stop him from just destroying, I don't know. And Tomlin, obviously, we're doing this thing where he's got to have a winning record, and he seems like the kind of guy who's going to ride his defense, control the clock by keeping the ball on the ground. Najee, insert running back 12. Boom. It's
Okay.
simple, it's pure.
I like that. We could definitely, I mean, we've seen Arthur Smith have really good running backs in fantasy, Derrick Henry, Bijan. Maybe even if he used them poorly, they still ended up being great. And Najee can do some work in the receiving game, so I'm with you there. Yeah, I could see it. I think again, it's another bad offense that we're rooting for,
Yeah,
which
all mine are bad offenses, three for
scares
three.
me. I went with Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
He's the RB 18, so it's a little higher than these other guys. But if you notice, I'm high on the Seahawks apparently, or at least their offense, because I did nominate DK, Noah Fant, and Kenneth Walker. I'm kind of worried about Geno in terms of like I do think they're going to throw a lot. Can Geno handle throwing a lot? We shall see, but we'll burn that bridge when we get there.
And Sam
Um,
Howell can throw that ball 5,000 times a year.
yeah, there we go. I'm not worried about Kenneth Walker though. He had a really good rushing grade last year from PFF. He opens up. I think the passing offense will open up his ability to run, and he's a powerful runner that I think can take advantage of that. And all the offseason camp hype around the Seahawks has one of the biggest stories is Kenneth Walker, it seems like. And so I just think there's a chance that he sneaks into the top 12 and maybe not even sneaks. I think he could be the RB6 instead of Pacheco.
Yeah, I'm with you. PFF had him at 10th last year for
Yeah.
sure. I
So
was getting deep. I was researching him. I subbed him out for Javante at the end just
gotcha.
because I couldn't find a smoking gun, and to see the workload split with Charbonnet having upwards of 130 carries last year. It's
Yeah.
like if he takes a leap, it got a little iffy, but I in my heart I think you're 100% correct with Kenneth Walker just stepping in, and I mean he's elite. He's done really impressive stuff with
Yeah.
a limited workload and surprising, draft competition, and it doesn't matter. Talent always wins out. And I think he's got Charbonnet beat. I like Charbonnet, and I think he could be a supplemental guy, but Kenneth Walker might not need any supplementing. So
I think so. So it sounds like Kenneth Walker then.
Kenneth is in.
Okay. And then so I feel like the ones I'm most intrigued by for the second spot would be maybe Najee and Swift. And then who was your other one?
Ramondre.
Ooh.
I
Ramondre
think,
or Swift, I think probably.
yeah, I would agree with that. I gotta go Ramondre though. I
Okay.
mean,
Well, I had one, you have one. Let's go. We'll go
okay.
Ramondre.
That's the episode, baby.
Oh, let's go. All right.
We did
So
it.
to recap, for the wide receivers, we're subbing out Puka Nacua and Chris Olave. Yes.
Yeah.
For DK Metcalf and DJ Moore. For the running backs, we are subbing out Isaiah Pacheco and Rashad White, subbing in Kenneth Walker III and Ramondre Stevenson. Tight ends, we're subbing out Dallas Goedert, subbing in, oh my goodness, Pratt Firemouth. Couldn't remember it for a second. Sorry. And for the quarterbacks, we're going to sub out Dak Prescott and sub in Kirk Cousins. So that is your top 12 in and out episode.
I like that too. It was fun. It was fun.
All right.
I loved your idea.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was hyped. So, but that is us. We will see you back here next week, and
Next
we're
week,
gonna
baby.
Gonna start recording one day earlier because next week football season starts. So here we go. We are almost there, everybody. I know you're all excited. We got one more week, and next time we talk to you, you'll likely have already seen some football. So
Hope so.
exciting stuff. But until then, we've been Rough Draft Research. You have been the audience, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.
I took a lease out